What's good, you Buffs fans? Welcome on back to another episode of the Red Zone Scout. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Noticed a lot of people checking in, so wanted to go ahead and say, if you would like to subscribe, go ahead and smash the subscribe button, like the video if you guys are enjoying what I'm doing down here, and most importantly, comment. Let me know what you guys would like to see from me. Change anything up, feel free to go ahead and let me know down in the comment section. Would love to interact with you guys. But without further ado, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have a show for you this week? Now, appreciate everybody that is here today. Wanted to just go ahead and take 2 seconds to talk about some pickups for CU. Now, obviously, if you haven't checked your Twitter in the past 7 days, I got you. Let me just fill you in and keep you up to date. But huge flip and commitment from 4-star defensive back Antonio Branch from Penn State to Colorado. Now, let me tell you why this is just huge. Because for many, many big recruiting platforms, they say Coach Prime doesn't recruit enough from the high school ranks. Now, I think that is going to start changing this year. Now, you can mark my words on this because I think we will see a large number of commitments start coming in, especially because it is that time of year where we need a big quarterback to come here. And no offense to Stout or any Wade or any of the other quarterbacks here, but I think that is really going to be a key in building out these high school ranks, is getting somebody that these kids want to play with. So, I mean, Antonio Branch is going to be somebody that hits the ground running here. I think is going to see himself playing, and he's a fit character for that. Can come right in and fit right. The more I said that, the more I realize I'm going to get cooked for that. So pause, all the way pause on that one. But anyway, let me go back here. Anyway, Scott Proctor on Sunday after the Baylor game said, Sunday morning overreactions or not, in a tweet. And I just want to read these for you because I think they're very interesting. It's time to unleash Omarion Miller. Obviously had an unreal close call with the ground and his knee, but made it for a touchdown. And be patient with Will Shepherd. Absolutely agree with this one. Shador's best game as a Buff. Not really feeling that one, especially with this game coming up, but defense back to square one, question mark. So wanted to touch on these tweets or, overreactions because of what the implications are, obviously, coming into the UCF game. Here's why. First and foremost, the most outrageous one is defense back to square one. I mean, you can argue Shador's best game as a Buff is definitely an outrageous one as well, but let's go ahead and kind of say this. Defense back to square one. You've literally got the first two. I mean, you got the defensive line playing great, and you got the linebackers playing fantastic. I mean, obviously, linebackers are one of the top PFFs every single week. And whether that's Nakai Hill-Green, whether that's Bentley, you're not going to go ahead and see a more consistent duo. And these boys are playing fantastic. So defense going back to square one, I think we just need to fill our gaps a little bit more. Obviously, Baylor's quarterback was able to take it on a 4th and 1. And in most cases on a 4th and 1, that's going to happen. And unfortunately, if the quarterback breaks away from that line and can get to the secondary and outrun or have a gap that he could take away, it's going to go to the house every single time, mostly. And unfortunately, that's just because you're overloading the box. You're trying to play a 4th and 1, 4th and short. You're trying to stop that minimal gain, but you're not going to cover for that back end half. Obviously, anybody who played football and knows it's just going to happen sometimes. So was it great? No. But that is leading me into my next point of, the biggest issue that I see with this defense is really going to come down to the quarterback runs. Containing the quarterback has been our problem. Now, I want to take it a step further and say BJ Green is going to have a breakout game today. I think he will establish himself in the edges of all of Colorado history, but also the entire nation today. And I'm just saying that because I think he's ready to have a game. He's ready to get to the quarterback. He made a couple of big stops last week against Baylor, and I don't think what the line is doing is going unnoticed, because they are doing a fantastic job of pushing running backs to different gaps and allowing the linebackers to shine. So just wanted to go ahead and say I think that you will see a big change from BJ Green. And another one out of left field, I think that Sammy Okunlola will be playing out of his mind today too. I don't see this offensive line really being able to match up with the edges and the fact that Chidozie Wonk was back. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of segue into that point of why is the defensive line the biggest key here? Now, obviously, it has been against North Dakota State, but that was because of the versatility of the quarterback schemes. And the same thing's going to apply here. CU must lock down and contain the quarterback. You got to add a spy, and I think that's probably what Robert Livingston is going to be doing. I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more zone, a little bit more cover two, a little bit less man play here. Now, obviously, if you didn't watch the pregame show Rewind, Coach Carl Reed came on and broke that down a bit. Every single defense practically turned into man after 20 to 15 yards down the field. So take that how you may, but CU definitely needs to be able to turn a man offense into a zone offense, especially with KJ Jefferson having 63 yards passing. It's not nearly as much as his running yards, and I cannot tell you enough about the versatility of this quarterback. He is somebody that you give him five yards of space, he'll turn that into a 20-yard gain. He is a big, versatile quarterback and somebody that you need to be on the lookout for. I mean, right now he's got 563 yards. Like, that is unreal. Just to consider that as a overall individual perspective, that is a lot. So key takeaway for that, you need to allow, or excuse me, I apologize. That was a previous stat. KJ Jefferson has 135 rushing yards. That's a lot. That is a lot, man. And you cannot. I mean, he is fourth on their rushing yards on ESPN. So you can't take that for granted. You got to be able to contain the quarterback here. And let's just take that into a segue of defensively, CU has to be able to adapt and not just show one cover. They have to be like Baylor was able to kind of make it look like it was disguising different schemes, and that was amazing. And I think that the way that we were able to watch the film, I think that's going to really help us in this game of being able to learn how to disguise, and hopefully Gus Malzahn doesn't just run the same play over and over and over and over and over, and it just keeps working, because he'll do that. He won't stop if it doesn't stop. If it doesn't stop, the play doesn't work. That's the only time he'll switch it up. So, that's a key for Robert Livingston, and Robert Livingston has done a fantastic job. I just want to say that he has really shown an incredible amount of ability to adapt, and reflecting his learnings in the NFL here with these young men is unreal, and I'm very, very excited to see what this opportunity takes, where this takes him, because he could be a head coach somewhere else and a defensive coordinator somewhere else at the end of the year if he keeps coaching like this. But I hope he's willing to stay, because this man is unreal. So I want to transition this onto the other side now with CU's biggest biggest problem last week, which was the offensive line. I think we got pretty lucky with being able to establish the run early. Baylor was arguably one of the best defenses all year that we will face, and for us to put up yards on them is awesome. I think we need to take that momentum that we have in a positive way. Now obviously there is still a lot of negative that came with that game in terms of Shador being hit and sacked 8 times. That's just inexcusable. And I know Phil Lodeholt was saying that all throughout the game. So hopefully there was some key adjustments made to this week's game to allow us to go ahead and pass the ball, because that's what we'll be able to do this week. And that UCF defense is not going to be able to keep up with the speed and absolute elusiveness of this receiving core. So, just hoping that we can go ahead and at least buy Shador a little bit more time. I think this is going to be a back-to-back touchdown game. I mean, you're going to see a lot of punches thrown, and a lot of punches received. Touchdowns are going to be scored here. I think it's going to be a 45 to like 58 game. I mean, could go one way or another here. So definitely not 100% sure, but I think CU walks away with the win here. And also a 15-point spread is just unreal, by the way. So hit that spread under for sure. For sure. That is unreasonable. But hey, hope CU gets this win, and let's go.